Alright, how's it going everyone? This is the week 10 update of building our Ryan home St. Lawrence, and we have officially reached the double digits here in this video series of building our new home. And along with that, we have yet another week of some notable progress that we should talk about. So to catch things up on the exterior side, one thing that is worth noting, and our PM mentioned to us back at the week 8 pre-drywall meeting construction phase, which if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link to above and in the description below that you can check out, is that exterior progress-wise, as you near the latter stages of the build, you're going to see less and less overall major changes and more incremental updates to different parts of the home, while a lot of the interior work largely starts to take place. And I would say that is true on the exterior side here. So if we look to what some of the differences are here along the exterior in the past week, one thing you can see is that we now have garage doors. Yes, garage doors have been added and installed on the tracks and are at least mechanically operable, but getting the electric door system installed and having that work is something that'll take place a little bit later on in the build. One other thing you'll also note here along the exterior is the fact that, yes, that missing window for a number of weeks near the first floor set of stairs going up to the second floor has now officially been installed. So everything around that window now, the siding work, the shutters, and so on, that is now complete as well. Now looking towards the sides and rear of the home, I would say at this point you're not going to see too many changes there compared to the previous week, but something we are waiting to see eventually is the air conditioner, the gas meter, some of these other electric and utility hookups getting installed and actually finally run and working with the home. Now, in the community progress side of things, we've also reached a couple of important milestones. So as you're going to see here, as my drone shot pans up, we have officially started building homes in the second phase of the community at this point. So you can see the foundation footings have now been poured for a model in the second phase of the community. I believe this looks to be a Corsica. So as I mentioned in a previous update video, I think it was week 3, this is a community of 58 homes being built in 2 phases. Of course, all of the initial construction work was just taking place for homes in the first phase, but we've now entered a new chapter of this community's progress, building homes here in the second phase. And as I pan around the community here, and of course, you can do your own math, but I count at this point 13 homes that are in some stage of construction, anywhere from just digging out the site, as you can see towards the bottom there, to a fully completed home like the model. But that said, of course, there are now a lot of homes under construction, so easily a fourth to a fifth of the entire community, and that includes at least 4 homes that are in or well past now the framing stage, as you can see with this other Versailles here that we're now panning over. So yes, we are still waiting on some areas like the stone water table, the more finished trim work around the columns along the front porch, exterior lights next to the garage door, the rear sliding door, or under the front porch, the front steps, and just a series of other small things here and there. But overall, and this was even true at the week 9 update stage, we have a very complete looking home at this point as far as the exterior goes. But to really show you some of the progress that's taken place over the past week, we will have to head inside. So, as we enter through our garage here, let us show you what's actually occurred in the past week. Now on a separate aside here, looking at the garage, one of the nice perks about these garage doors is the fact that the top panel does have some windows that let in a bit of light. But as you can see just panning around the garage here, the key thing that has taken place in the past week is, in fact, drywall. So as we take a look throughout all the different rooms of the home here, you're going to see that drywall has been hung in the overall vast majority of spaces throughout the house. Now this does not just include screwing the drywall in and actually getting it up there on the studs, but also includes, as you're going to see, taping and mudding that has taken place. So the drywall has not been sanded yet. It's a little tough to tell, although I did try to get a couple close-up shots here that show this. But once that is complete, of course, we'll actually start to have a primer coat put on the home, and we're going to see a lot more of the other trim work. Baseboards, door frames, the cabinets are going to get hung, and we're going to see a lot more of the home take shape at that point. Now, a couple things worth noting with this drywall stage that we did notice. It is not uncommon to have different electric receptacles and some other things accidentally covered over at this point by the drywallers. We did notice a couple of spots, both in the family room and some other areas that should have been present but were not cut, at least yet. Our PM did inform us that the electricians will be taking care of this when they go through the home a bit later, and uncovering any receptacles or switch plate locations that shouldn't have been covered over. That said, this is also one of the reasons why documenting things at various parts of the build can be helpful, because again, you might not even know something was or could be accidentally covered over if you didn't have that reference point from a few weeks prior. Now, the other thing I'll note is that I think this is one of the first times you're actually going to get to feel what the home is going to look like in terms of the finished spaces. Really hard to sort of visualize this when you have just open framing throughout the house. Once you have the drywall hung, you can really tell how much natural daylight each of these rooms are getting. And I would say this is especially true of the basement, which of course is very dark in general overall. You can see the heater there giving off some heat in the winter. We had the benefit of being pretty toasty here, at least compared to some of our previous visits to the home. You can also now see here in the basement what our PM was talking about in the previous update videos when he mentioned the separate door for the water shutoff and sewer clean out areas. But some of these spaces have been tough to visualize prior to this, so being able to see some of these areas with the drywall up and with the actual finished dimensions of these spaces and what they'll be in the long run, that is sort of its own milestone in the build, and I feel like we can actually now start to measure different things and really get a sense for what will fit where and where we want to put all of our different furniture and everything. And one last thing I will note in terms of the drywall that was missing was for the bathroom areas. So the shower surround where the ceramic tile would go in the owner's bathroom, the tub and shower surround in the hall bathroom upstairs. These areas will either get cement board or green or blue board, some form of mold or water resistant drywall. And so that will be added very soon, but at a slightly different time. Now on a related note, as you see that broken window there, is the fact that we did get to follow up with our PM on some of the pre-drywall inspection items just to see what the progress on those were. And he could report that at least as far as the structural items were concerned, those have now been corrected and taken care of, which they would essentially need to be prior to the drywall stage. So yes, of particular note, if you remember the cracked truss or some of the other things that were pointed out, these have now been corrected. And we did discuss some of the other areas that have yet to be done. Again, broken windows will be taken care of at a later stage, though we're still keeping track of that. And some of the more minor items like the disconnected bathroom exhaust fan, these will all be buttoned up at later stages when the trades make their final round through the build. And so all in all, that's where we are with week 10. The exterior continues to look more and more like the finished product and is very near completion in that regard. And our interior is finally looking more like the finished product with our drywall up. Now, hopefully this video has been of some help to you. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if it has. Of course, be sure to subscribe because there's going to be many more updates on the home and the overall build process here, but some additional content coming too as we near completion, just to talk about everything that went on during the process. And you'll definitely want to stay tuned to those videos because I think they'll be a big help for anyone, not just building a Ryan home, but building a new construction build in general. For now, that's all I have to say. So thanks for watching.